Hey everyone, we're back again with another question. Shireen, let's do it.
Alrighty. How do you build a predictable pipeline instead of living deal to deal?
So you know what? A lot of agents struggle with lead generation, and I will sum that up by they are like a one-trick pony. Like imagine being a basketball player and you only have one move. The minute
No left hand.
You have no left.
Where's your handles?
Where's your
Where's your handles?
Where's your handles? So the minute people catch on to your move, you're just done.
Right.
Or you're a baseball player and you can only throw one type of. You're a pitcher. You only have one pitch. Right?
I don't have baseball analogies.
Eventually, people. So the idea in real estate, a lot of people just work one pillar, and a pillar is an avenue that you're using for lead generation. And many people just work their repeat and referral business. So you ask a realtor, how do you grow your business? And they say, hey, I work, repeat and referrals. The problem is that when you're only doing 4 or 5 deals a year, that's not enough to get you scaled up to like, say, 20 to 40 to 50 and 60 and beyond. So the idea, you have to have multiple pillars. So one pillar, yes, that everybody uses or references is their database, the repeat and referral business. And that in the prior video I mentioned, you want to be able to convert at least 10% of your database. And 75% of the time, the business you get from your database won't come from your actual database. I mentioned before, my top referring client, he was never my client, kid from Scarborough, Galloway, gave me the most business because his aunts and uncles and cousins, he would just go to barbecues and refer me. So I already said that story before. So you guys need to know that as well. So one pillar is your database. That's number one. The next pillar, you have to pick something else. So many people choose open houses because people are already coming to the house because they want to buy something. So obviously open houses are good. So open houses is another pillar and something you need to do in order to actually scale your business, right? So you have open houses. Now, if you don't have many open houses yourself because you're not selling anything, then what you can do is you can ask agents to have open houses and say, hey, can I do your open houses for you? That makes sense?
It does.
There we go. Open houses, number two. Those are the two most common that people like to do, okay? The other one, it's, expired leads, right? Expired leads are leads where people have tried to sell, but they failed to sell at some point in time, and now they have now come off of the market. So we have access to seeing who that is. Now, based on what province you are in and what country you're in, they have some rules and stipulations around expired leads. I made a disclaimer for all the keyboard warriors. That I don't respond to, by the way. So I don't play that game. I don't play games.
All publicity is good publicity.
I don't answer. I'm like, whatever.
Good
bro.
or bad. Let them type away.
Type away. These guys that have like a no headshot in their picture. There's some random image talking a bunch of crap. Bro.
Hey, the viewership went up, and that's all that matters.
All right, check this out. Open houses. But expired leads, right? There are provinces that have rules regarding that. Some you can't do it and some others you can. But the idea is expired listings are one thing to say, okay, I'm going to go after that. Now, when I say a true pillar, Serena, is something where you do like 10 deals from that or more. A minute someone says, hey, I work my repeat and referral business. How much transactions do you do per year? I do 10. Okay, you know what? You are clearly doing something in that element to consistently get that business. Whether you're calling them all the time, you are doing events, you're doing something in order to consistently get 10 deals a year from that pillar, right? If you're doing 1 or 2 deals a year, we're not trying to hear that you don't have a strategy. Because your strategy is you just wait for your aunt to call you or your cousin to call you randomly, then you get a deal. That's not a strategy.
You got a full-time job, that's
Bruh,
why.
you know what I mean? For real talk. So here we go. 10. That tells me you are working that system. If someone tells me they work open houses as a strategy, show me 10 deals that you can say that you've gotten from open houses. That tells me that you are, because if you got 10 deals from open houses, it means that you would have went on a lot of them per year. You would have been consistent and you would have really worked that pillar with the strategy, inviting the neighbors, for example. You would have really been able to say, hey, because of my open house strategy, I was able to get 10 deals done. Right. So open house strategy. Then you have expires, as I said, expires, right? Where you're literally going after people that tried to sell and failed. So at the end of the year, you're like, how did you get 10 deals? Because I literally got them under all expireds. Really? How did you do that? Because you had a strategy and you targeted that. Make sense?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
in order to have closed 10 expired deals, you would have had to have spoke to probably maybe 30 of them. You'd have had to probably knock on a bunch of doors of people that didn't answer their phones. You would have probably tried to target like 100 of them just to get 10, for
Can I
example.
ask a question?
Sure.
Do we know what the conversion rate is for the realtors that go after expired deals?
30%. You know what? The number that I do know is 30%. So 30% of the time when you go after an expired, you should be able to get a person that says, yes, I tried to sell.
Mm-hmm.
No, it did not sell. I am open to working with another real estate agent. So yes, sure, here's my information and we can talk later.
You just converted them into a warm lead.
There you go. Well, hot lead, actually.
Ooh, a hot lead.
I call those hot leads, actually.
Hot.
I don't have a category, and there's no category that I have really in Harvest for hot lead. But when you have an expired lead,
Yeah.
they were on the market before,
Yeah.
and they're telling you, I still want to sell, and I'm not working with my past realtor, that is as hot as you get because you know they tried, so you know they're going to sell.
Yeah.
So that's a hot lead. But yeah, I would say 30% should be that number because 70% of the time they're going to tell you, they're either going to say, no, it's my cousins, my friend, they did a great job, it wasn't their fault, or I don't want to sell at all, things change, whatever it is. So it's important to know that 30% question, 30% margin there for sure.
It's the low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have expireds. Then another one that you have is like farming, right? You know, and this is all about how do you scale your business because you're not going to grow and scale and if you only have one pillar usually, right? You have to have multiple things that you're doing. So by the end of the year, you're like, hey, you know, if you want to grow your business next year, then you just add a pillar to your business or do more within the pillar that you're actually doing. So if you want to do more if you want to make more money, then if you did 10 open houses last year, then you're going to say, now I want to do maybe 20. Right. So obviously you can grow within your pillar, but what many people need to do is they actually need to add another pillar because many people that work their database, repeat and referral, you only have 100 people in there.
Right.
So you're only going to you're going to be limited at how much you can scale within it because you only have so much in it.
You need
so
to
eventually
get to walk in.
Right. So it's either you're going to grow it from 100 to 200 to 400, but many people have their database of 100, 200 people, and they typically tend to have that a similar amount year over year, right? So there's a limit to what you can do if you only work your repeat and referral. So that's why you have to add another pillar that will be open houses or expireds. The next thing is farming. I think farming is when I walked around on stages in Toronto, whatnot, and I asked people, how much of you guys farm an area? So farming is when you pick one area that has, say, 1,000 houses, a turnover rate of, say, 5%, and you know every year statistically 50 homes sold every single year. So you know that. So you just go to that one area and just dominate and eat market share. And why that's amazing, because when you have 70,000 realtors in the city, it's hard to create a competitive advantage. Like, why should I work with you?
Right.
But if you have sold like 5 homes on that street and every year you're the go-to guy, it's easier to say, hire me because I'm the guy. So farming is a massive pillar that you want to add as well. Obviously, door knocking, you know what I mean? So between farming a community and building relationships within a community, you also have for sale by owners, FSBOs we call them. People that try to sell on their own, but they're failing. And now you get in there and say, hey, listen, you've been trying to sell. You've been on the market for the last 60 days, 90 days. It's obviously not moving. How about we work together, et cetera, right? So you have for sale by owners you can target. You have expired leads you can target. You have farming a community, right? You have open houses. You have your repeat and referrals, right? And obviously you have social media, which is a valid new pillar. In the history of realtors, most of us grew up in real estate and didn't really leverage social media the right way. It's been a massive, obviously, upticking for the past maybe couple of years now. But social media obviously is another pillar that cannot be ignored. But you have to do something to scale your business.
Right.
Makes sense? Yeah. So hope that helps. But most people the biggest error that most agents make is they actually only have a systematic approach to mostly no pillars, right? Because most say they want to work their repeat and referral, but unless you are calling your database every single 90 days, and when you miss a phone call, you call them back in a week, but you talk to every single person every single 90 days like clockwork, unless you're doing that for everyone in your database, you don't even have a referral strategy per se, right? Or one that's maximum that is super efficient. But yeah, in order to scale, you have to add more lead pillars to your business. Hope that helps, guys.